Nobel's most famous invention was dynamite. কে না জানে আলফ্রেড নোবেল। তো আজ আমরা ঘুরে দেখব আলফ্রেড নোবেলের বাড়ি। আলফ্রেড নোবেল তার জীবনের শেষ সময়টুকু এই বাড়িটিতেই কাটিয়েছিলেন, এই ম্যানর হাউসে। এমিলিয়া আমাকে পুরো বাড়িটা ঘুরে দেখিয়েছে। দিস ইজ এমিলিয়া।
This room used to be a storage room, but today we show a desk because that's more interesting to look at. But on the wall here we see a drawing of an early prototype of it's a transportation boat which was made to transport oil over the oceans, and that was invented by Alfred Nobel's older brothers, and they were big in the oil business. In this room we show a bit about Alfred Nobel's life, but also his family tree. Alfred Nobel himself didn't have any children and he never married, but his brothers, his older brothers, they had plenty of children. And Alfred himself, his parents actually in total had 8 children, but 4 of them died before the age of 10, and that's why they're not displayed on the family tree. But it was very common in this era in Sweden that children didn't survive childhood.
Okay. What is this?
This is a safe for safekeeping important documents and stuff.
Oh, there is money.
Yes. So this is old Russian money.
Oh.
And the document is a copy of one of Alfred's patents. And in total he had 355 patents of different kinds internationally. So not 355 different patents, but internationally that many, yes. And he was interested in cameras and photography, which is an interesting fact. So this was one of his cameras, and this was the most modern of its kind back in the day.
Excellent.
Very different from
Yes.
current cameras. This room is called a smoking room, and in Swedish homes during the 1800s it's common to have a room for smoking, but also for it's not only for smoking, it's for
Music.
and it's for
Recreation.
yes. But Alfred, he didn't like the smell of tobacco, so in this room you were only allowed to smoke the nicer kinds like cigars or pipes, but if you wanted to smoke cigarettes you had to go outside. And this woman we see here, her name is Sophie Hess, and she had a relationship with Alfred that lasted around 20 years, closer to 20 years, and they met when Alfred was 43, but Sophie was 25, but she lied about her age to Alfred, said she was 20 years old, which was kind of, it wasn't very good for her because Alfred was actually uncomfortable by the age difference, but it lasted for 20 years, so
It's good. It's amazing.
But she was from a lower class family compared to Alfred, who was at the time very rich and famous. so she was never really nice enough for Alfred to actually marry her. This is Alfred Nobel's library, and these books belong to him. Alfred was an avid reader. He read everything from science to philosophy, political literature to fairy tales and storybooks. So you'll find books all from about books about fishes to the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which you can see here. And these writers are supposedly Alfred's favorite writers, the ones on the wall. Some of which also became Nobel Prize literature winners. And the woman is Selma Lagerlöf, and she was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize of Literature.
Okay, she.
Yes. Alfred knew 5 different languages and spoke them fluently. 5 different languages. So he spoke Swedish and Russian, and English and French and German. And he thought it was very important to read books in their original language, because so much was lost in the translation, he thought. So these books represents all of those languages, and you'll find that they're written in all of these different languages.
Antique books.
Yes, they're beautiful.
And he touched everything.
Yeah. These pictures are of Alfred Nobel's parents. So this is his dad. His name was Emmanuel, and this is his mother, and her name was Andrietta. And Andrietta and Alfred were very close to each other. When Alfred was very young, he was often sick, so he spent a lot of time at home together with his mother. So they became very close that way.
This is?
Oh, this is a dining room, and it's most famous for the royal visit that happened while Alfred was living here. So in 1895, the current king of Sweden, Oscar II, visited, and they had lunch in his room. And you'll see the menu here on the table. They had 11 dishes for lunch. And it took a few hours.
This is the kitchen.
This is
Coffee area.
cupboard.
Cupboard.
Storage.
Storage, okay.
So a cold cupboard for food storage.
Okay.
The kitchen isn't restored to its original look, so it's closed for visitors.
Okay.
And this picture, this painting is of King Oscar II. And here's the menu they had for lunch. cupboard has an interesting story. It was bought from a tea and coffee shop during the early 1900s, and it looks as if it's coming from the East Asia. It has that kind of imagery, East Asian imagery, but it's actually just reconstruction. And these signs, they don't mean anything. It doesn't say anything. So this is just someone who thought it would look nice in a tea and coffee shop. This is an exhibition about the people who were close to Alfred. So we have his family, and these are his brothers. So his older brothers, Emil is his younger brother, and that's Ragnar Solman, who was a close friend to Alfred at the end of his life, and he was also the one who executed Alfred Nobel's testament to make sure that we have these Nobel Prizes. This is Sophie Hess again, and the other woman is Bertha von Suttner, and she was a peace fighter and worked for Alfred as a secretary during a short time, but they became very good friends, and she became a Nobel Peace Prize winner as well, the first woman to do so. And these are a few of his business associates. The museum often has theatrical tours, and the actors start their tours here. So the theater shows are here. So then Alfred often sits in this chair, and an actor who plays Alfred sits in the chair and acts the tour instead of having someone telling it to you. When Alfred lived here, this was his bedroom, and he wasn't a tall man, 165 centimeters tall, and so he didn't need that much of a bed. And as I said before, he never married, so he slept alone. In this box there is a weapon, because Alfred was quite paranoid. He thought he might get sick during the night. So he kept this weapon under his pillow. It was loaded with blank shots, so no bullets, but he had it under his pillow so he could fire a shot to make the staff alerted if he was suddenly ill. This was a guest room. These are a few medals he was awarded during his life, and this statuette is actually his death mask. It was taken of his face right after his death. And this is his second camera. He had two of them, one downstairs and this one. This is a big copy of his testament. So this is the testament that describes the Nobel Prizes, and Alfred wanted most of his fortune to go to the Nobel Prizes, and at the time it was 33 million Swedish kronor, and that was put into the prize pot of the Nobel Prizes. It contains pictures from Ragnar Solman, and he actually lived here himself. He executed the Nobel Prizes, and then he lived here himself for 30 years after Nobel's death. So this is a room with pictures from his time here, and some pictures of Alfred's different homes he was a real cosmopolitan man, lived all over the world. He lived here, and it's when they were collecting the money for the Nobel Prizes.
Okay.
He sold everything Alfred owned. So he sold his homes, his companies, his furniture. So not a lot of his personal belongings remains. So what we have here is props and some of the things from Ragnar's time here. So this moose was his trophy, and this was his.
আলফ্রেড নোবেল 1894 সালে এবি বোফোর্স গুলস্পাং কিনেছিলেন। তখন গান পাউডার নিয়ে পরীক্ষা নিরীক্ষার জন্য একটি জায়গা এবং পরীক্ষামূলক ফায়ারিং করার হয়েছিল। সঙ্গে সঙ্গে শুরু হলো ল্যাবরেটরি তৈরির কাজ। 1895 সালে নির্মাণ কাজ শেষ হয়েছিল এই ল্যাবরেটরি। যে ল্যাবরেটরিটা তৈরি করেছিলেন সেখানে পাউডার ট্রায়াল, কৃত্রিম রবার এবং সিনথেটিক থ্রেড দিয়ে পরীক্ষা করা হয়েছিল গবেষণাগারটিতে। সেটা এখনও বিদ্যমান, যেটা আমরা দেখছি। আজও নোবেলের পরীক্ষামূলক ক্রিয়াকলাপ এবং উদ্যোগের একটি প্রদর্শনী এখানে রয়েছে। ম্যানরে রয়েছে, আমরা দেখে আসলাম এক্ষুনি, তার ব্যক্তি জীবনের প্রদর্শনী। আলফ্রেড নোবেল 6টি ভাষাতে সাবলীল ছিলেন। 24 বছর বয়সে তার প্রথম পেটেন্ট তিনি দাখিল করেন এবং তিনি তার পরিবারের সাথে অনেক ব্যবসায়িক উদ্যোগ শুরু করেন, বিশেষ করে এই বোফোর্স মালিকের লৌহ ইস্পাত সেটার ওপর। আজকে আমরা সবাই জানি আলফ্রেড নোবেলের জন্যই সারা পৃথিবীতে বিভিন্ন জায়গার মানুষ নোবেল পুরস্কার পান। মানব জাতির জন্য সবচেয়ে বড় সুবিধা প্রদানকারী ব্যক্তিদের স্বীকৃতি দেয় এই নোবেল পুরস্কার। আলফ্রেড নোবেলের ব্যবহার করা সাইকেল, তার ব্যবহার করা বিভিন্ন কাজের সমস্ত কিছু, তার ল্যাবরেটরিতে যেসব রাখা আছে, মানে অসম্ভব ভালো লাগছিল দেখতে। এবং এগুলো সব উনি ধরেছেন, এগুলো ওনার ছোঁয়া আছে, এটা ভেবেই খুব আনন্দ হচ্ছিল যে এটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি, মানে এই সৌভাগ্যটা আমাদের সবার হয়েছে। আর এখানে যে মূর্তিটা ছিল আলফ্রেড নোবেলের, সেটা তো মানে পুরো অবিকল মনে হচ্ছিল যেন একটা মানুষ সত্যিই বসে আছে। অসম্ভব ভালো লাগলো এই পুরো আলফ্রেড নোবেলের বাড়ি, তার ল্যাবরেটরি, তার বোফোর্স ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল মিউজিয়াম আমরা খুব আনন্দ করলাম, খুব ভালো লাগলো দেখতে। আর অনেক কিছু জানলাম, অনেক কিছু শিখলাম, অনেক কিছু দেখলাম, খুব ভালো লাগলো। আমাদের ভিডিওটা যদি ভালো লেগে থাকে প্লিজ সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দাও। আমার সেরকম সাবস্ক্রাইবার আমাদের নেই, অনেক অনেক সাবস্ক্রাইব করো, শেয়ার করো, অনেক সবাই আমাদের পাশে থাকুন। আর এরপরে কার্লসকোগাতে আমরা দেবব্রত দাদের বাড়িতে কত মজা করলাম সেই সব ভিডিও নিয়ে পরের ভিডিওটা থাকবে।